Good morning, Facebook.
Good morning, good morning.
A little bit different today. We're going to try and do some things, a bit of a pilot run. I'll come back to this lady in a sec. I'm going to come over here and talk to this camera. There you go, straight away. You can see something different about Facebook Live. I am sat in the studios of Andy Good TV and TalkPod TV to try something new. Got to love the internet. TalkPod TV, creative conversations. It's just a first run at something that we're going to see has got any legs. I've got three wonderful people to talk to today that is, to be honest with you, is going to make it really, really easy. It's Facebook Live, but with a cherry on the top and high quality. And let's see where it goes. So my first guest is somebody that is about as nervous as I've seen her since we got bloody married. So, we're just talking amongst friends here. So I'm going to forget all these people and we're just going to have a chat.
Okay.
So I've prepared lots of questions which I know that you haven't seen.
Yeah, which you won't share, which is rude.
Right, yeah. So for first question I'm going to ask is, what side of the bed do you sleep? No, I think that one of the reasons why I wanted you to come in and have a chat was that from a business perspective, what you've achieved has been amazing, unbelievable. I know that you've had some business coaching help. And, I think we need to thank Steve Jones for that when he comes in later on, and Karen and Paul. But I think the first thing to do is just tell people a bit more about who you are or who you were and a little bit about your story. So just 2 or 3 minutes backstory.
No problem. So Janet Dickson, yes. I am your lovely wife. I head up the property side of Yes Can Do, the Yes Can Do business. So Yes Can Do as a brand was created by Steve Roberts, my business partner, too many decades ago for Steve. He is known as Mr. Yes Can Do. Started buy-to-let and residential mortgages, and about 5 years ago, Steve's customers kept saying, great, fantastic customer service, now can you let my property? Now can you let my property? And Steve kept saying, well, no, that's not something we do. And then sat there, as Steve does, and went, well, why don't we do that? And I do believe he contacted you and said, do you know anybody that had a estate agency background but a business owner mindset? And I'd met Steve probably about 11, 12 years ago when I was running my own business back then. And I do believe you went, you need to talk to Janet. And about 15 minutes later, I had a Facebook message saying we need to talk, which is never good. But actually, it turned out to be one of the best things I ever did. So Steve is obviously still Mr. Yes Can Do, but I'm director of Yes Can Do Property. We've been going for about 4 years. So
just because people won't know, some of your skill sets and some of the other things that you've done. So because there'll be some jobs in there that people won't have realised, and actually a passion of yours. So if money wasn't, we all need to earn money.
Easy question.
There you go. So and there'll be, I think you'll share some stuff that people won't know.
So I started off life coming out of university with a language degree and didn't have a clue what I wanted to do, and joined PricewaterhouseCoopers, which is a big financial industry and company, and headed up pretty much, layman's terms, their debt recovery across Europe with the languages, which was amazing, absolutely amazing company. But my job title, it changed and it changed and it changed, and it pulled me away from my passion, which anybody who knows me is people. I ended up working on spreadsheets too much, so I left there. And I went into a estate agency on the Isle of Wight where I lived. Again, people, every day is different. I love that. Every day is different. You kind of don't really know what's coming. But, sorry, Steve, but if money was no object and I could do anything in the world apart from estate agency, one of the best jobs I ever did was domiciliary care. And
that's why I married you. So,
yes,
I'm
so you've got good
so.
care coming, young man. I foresee the future. I did, and it was keeping elderly people in their homes. And best job in the world. I learned so much from that job.
So, so there's definitely some things in there that, fluent Spanish, fluent French.
Fluent gibberish.
I think your money background, you're smarter than the orange that you wear. I think people, you come across as a crazy, all over the place kind of girl.
Yep.
But I think underneath it, there's a very, very smart individual. And I think people I don't know that they underestimate you, but you're certainly not somebody to underestimate.
Thank
so
you.
very, very driven. Right. So estate agency, it's just starting to embrace the modern age.
Yes.
We often talk about it. So, and I wrote something down this morning. It's sort of like, it reminded me of the old vinyl records that then went over to online MP3s.
I don't remember the vinyls, but okay.
Yeah. How often do we get that? So, yeah, but, you know, the old record, when you could go into shops and buy vinyls and they were on the high street, and then it all went onto the internet.
Yep.
So, but the estate agency industry is still very grey suits, kipper ties, and on the high street. And the people that have tried to transition across, your Purple Bricks and the like, you know, there's a few of them.
Yes.
Is that they're not doing a great job with it.
Nope.
But you guys have done an amazing job with it. And
Thank
so, so share a little bit about how you've approached that and what some of the things are that you've done to become an MP3 seller while people are still selling vinyls on the high street.
Ultimately, 100%, it's based on customer service. Genuinely, because a lot of people say, oh, you're an online agent. No, we're not. We just don't have the high street walk-in. That doesn't exist anymore. It does. They're still there. But 99.4% of people go to the likes of Rightmove, Zoopla, Prime Location first, and then contact the agent. So we're on all of those platforms, and we have got an office that people can come into. They come in regularly, but we've got the old estate agency normal platform, so to speak, but actually we're now doing it, embracing, which you can't not do in this day and age, which is the massive platform of social media. Yeah. So we're like I suppose people call us a hybrid estate agent. We're not. I don't even know what to call ourselves because I don't really like estate agents, but I am one. But we do it absolutely customer service based. And then with the twist of the social media. Social media is amazing. I mean, for our industry that we're in, we've got a platform for the photos that we create, the professional photos for Yes Can Do Media, the videography, the property tours that no other agent is doing. Yeah. But it's such a strong platform that wasn't there when I first did it back on the Isle of Wight.
So I just think that there's so many lessons in there for people that watch this back that you know, you don't have to be an estate. I mean, I use vinyl records as an example of something that was on the high street that became, and the record industry were one of the last to catch on. Yeah. And I see it with estate agency. It's just like, come on, you know. And whilst I wouldn't want them all to jump on and, you know, tomorrow and end up,
they got to catch up. We're still trying to keep one or 2 or 3 steps ahead.
And you know how abundant I am. You know, there's plenty of everything for everybody. And it doesn't matter if they're all on. No. Actually, it's good for business because it means you have to try harder and to be that little bit better than the rest of them.
So for an example, everyone thinks, people go to Rightmove first to look for properties and stuff. Actually, we sell properties from Facebook before they go live on Rightmove.
Well, I've seen you do it. So, you know, where you've posted up, this is coming to market, and then your messenger's gone off like crazy before you've even hit Rightmove.
It's such a strong platform. But the thing to remember with social media, you are putting yourself and your company out there. Yeah. So you have to know that it's not a vulnerability, because actually this is a great tool for us, especially what we do as an industry. But bear in mind that you are going to get people go, oh, that's too expensive. Oh, the garden's a bit small. And actually, you just have to embrace that and know that actually it's freedom of speech. But the amount of people that our customer base, and again, it strives from the customer service, that like and share our posts. And like I said, our average post share and coverage is about 6,000-7,000 people.
Right, so I'm gonna because I know you're sat there nervous about
I don't want to pick my cup up in case I shake.
And we've got people here that were nervous whether or not we were going to get tumbleweed and what have you, and we're going to dry up. That's just like the 20 minutes is just going to fly by. So, and I've got 2 far better guests that I need to get on after you.
Cook your own tea.
Right, so estate agency Monday to Friday. Let me finish. Right. Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. Yep. Saturday girl comes in the morning to field calls. Mm-hmm. So where do you go the rest of the time?
Well, I just kick back and play Candy Crush.
So what are you doing? So so the message here is, because there'll be people that watch, and you're on like year 3 full on. So over 4 years, but sort of coming into 3rd year full steam. Give some kind of idea, because this isn't just about estate agents, this is business generally. So it's a yardstick for people to understand shit, you know, is this really what you need to be doing?
Yeah, you do.
So Monday to Friday 9 to 5
Yeah.
and Saturday girl. So now give me an example.
The actual truth.
Yeah. So
The truth.
Share.
It is. It's not just like you say. It's not just a state agency. It's business life in general right now. 9 to 5, it isn't there. Just a Saturday person isn't there. A day off on Sunday to go and do your shopping, it doesn't exist. And I know we've talked about it before, and I know you've talked about it with other people. Work-life balance, forget about it. Seriously, it doesn't exist. It's not a case of that you're working all the time, but as a business owner, you need to love what you're doing. You need to embrace what you're doing because otherwise you'll resent it.
Because of the hours.
So, I mean, we've done it before. So 9 to 5 doesn't exist. People work. A lot of people looking for properties will work 9 to 5 or 9 till 7. So they're contacting us at 7:30, 8:30, 9:30 at night by either email. But it's not just a case of, so again, historically, 9 to 5, somebody would ring you between 9 and 5. As you well know, we get WhatsApp, text message, emails, Facebook Messenger at all times of the day, night, weekends, etc. And you have to embrace that because it's not a case of you're serving your everybody's beck and call, but speed is so important in business. So, for example, if there's a property, there are other estate agents out there, apart from us, that a property might be on, as an example, with 2 agents. So that person looking will send an inquiry to both agents, for example. Now, they'll get a response from my team or myself at 8:30 when they've sent that email at 8:15 that night. Even on a Friday, Saturday or a Sunday, the other agents, the chain agents necessarily, that don't embrace the having to work massive hours, they'll contact them at 9:30. Well, I've already booked them in to see that property. You have to, especially when you're quite young in a business, it's all in. Wow. But you can't. Sometimes you think, wow, but actually, when you get that response back, wow, thanks very much for such a speedy response. There is no work-life balance, but it's amazing if you embrace it and love what you do. It's seriously cool.
Right. So I've got a question that I want to ask at the end, but let's just swap seats for a moment. So be the business coach,
Ooh.
And rather than just talk about estate agency specifically, share maybe 4 or 5 like bullets that if somebody is in business, especially if they're as far in as you are, so
Yep.
year 3, year 4, and they're scratching their head and it's not happening for them.
I've been there.
Yeah. So what's a reality checks and what sort of bits of advice would you give from a coach's seat to sort of say, make sure you're doing this or don't worry about that? So just give some things that you've experienced that you now know that's okay, or this is what I wasn't expecting it, but this is where I'm at now.
One of my there's quite a few, but flexibility.
Okay.
Because it isn't that's so that in my handbook it does X, Y, Z. Well, actually it goes X, Y, P, Z thing
Right.
all over the place. So you have to roll with situations. Yes, you can put a framework in place and a process, but things don't necessarily follow that. So flexibility and adaptability, I think, because every day new things are coming in. For example, the social media, things are updating all the time. No, you are unique in your business, but actually there's a lot of people out there doing what you do.
Yeah.
So don't expect, you're going to win some, you're going to lose some.
Okay.
The ones that you lose, learn from why you've lost them and then move on to win more. You're not going to be everybody's cup of tea.
Right.
So, and that, I think it took my pride a bit when somebody didn't go with us as an agent. It did dent my pride and think, hang on a second, why not? But actually, I'm not going to be everybody's cup of tea. Love what you do. Honestly, it sounds really, really twee, but I genuinely love what I do, and it comes across.
Right, so I want to just separate, I'm conscious of the time, but I need to separate those 2 things out. So love what you do, but a really, really important message here is to not only love selling houses, but love the process that you have to go through to be able to sell houses. that bit for me is as, if not more important than the widget that you get to deliver at the
100%.
end. So, because if you don't enjoy the process to get to the house sale, then you won't ever get to sell any houses. So.
No, it's like I say, we're learning all the time. And another one is actually be open to learning new things all the time. The minute that you think, oh, I've got this, I know what I'm doing, or that's it, you need to keep learning and keep embracing new things.
Right. So, last question, and then. In fact, I'll have a quick look to see if there's any questions on here that might come up before you disappear. Let's let people sort of inside. You know, this whole thing about you don't teach. You couldn't. I couldn't teach you how to drive, or you couldn't teach me how to drive.
No.
But you know, you're living with a business coach who coaches your business.
Yeah.
So share. That process and what we've done to be able to make that work. So the formalisation of it, if you like. So you know, we don't sit around the dinner table and do coaching.
No. So so when you were first ready to coach my business and ultimately me, I wasn't ready.
Right.
Because suggestions and things like what about, have you thought about this, genuinely as a person, my personality type, I took that, I went defensive.
Right.
And I know that I was a nightmare, absolutely, but actually the further I got into the business, I did mature into it and mature into the business owner role, because it's a completely different job than being an estate agent. Yeah. It's two jobs. And I think I've matured into that, to actually say, okay, look, I need your help. And I do remember coming to you and saying, okay, I need your help, I'm ready and I won't be grumpy. But yeah, we do, we formalise it. We actually have meetings, specific times, and over the dinner table it's how was your day, but it doesn't encroach. And I think it has to be very formal to be able to do that. And it's easy for me, but to trust in you as a business coach, to know what you're saying to me, even if I don't want to hear it or I don't necessarily agree with it, that it is for the best for my business. But obviously, my business and my team, huge difference.
Right. And just while I quickly flick through here, tell our viewer.
Hi, one viewer.
Yeah, why you were on first today? So.
Oh, why I was on first? I had a viewing first thing this morning, and I've hot-footed it across here to Hamble to do this, and I was supposed to be on second or third, but actually I bumped myself up the queue because I've got to now hot-foot it. It's 11:15. I've got to hot-foot it across to Portsmouth because I've got a 12 o'clock viewing. The first of 4 and 2 valuations today.
Right, I'm struggling to see if there's anything specific from a question perspective, and I'm also aware of the time.
So just really quickly, I'm on now, yay! I'm not nervous now.
I knew this was going to happen. I'm in.
Something that somebody else was talking about, and I know that you've mentioned it before, is when does our job as an estate agent, or when does the hard work start? You messed that up, you forgot that one.
It's on here.
Okay. And it's quite an interesting question, because most people will say marketing the property, or getting the properties on, or selling them. It's a twee thing, but I don't sell houses. People buy them, ultimately. Our hard work starts once a sale is agreed. I'm going to buy that house. The roller coaster that is the next 10, 12, 16 weeks after that, the liaison with solicitors, the emotions that people go through, first-time buyers, their naivety, people that are downsizing due to personal loss of partners perhaps, that's the real hard work. And a lot of people, again, when you say about the 9 to 5, think we just switch off. You don't. You can't help but get emotionally attached with every single journey. And probably the one thing that stuck on the long days and the hard days is the amount of people that remember a phrase that I use. And at the end of that, the whole process, they'll say to me, gets me going, but you said to me that you'd be there on the roller coaster every step with me, and we are. So I don't sell houses, and people, the phrase is, I don't do property, I do people. Yeah,
and I think, it doesn't matter what you do, you personally do, to be honest with you. That's why you'll always be successful at what you do. So,
we're really proud of our brand, and the customer service.
So much
I know, Andy stole it. He stole our brand.
TalkPod TV.
The orange.
And apparently B&Q are using it.
They are, and some wiggle thing.
Yeah, so... anyway, was it anywhere near as painful as you thought it was going to be? And I'm going to refer to the pacing up and down for 3 months about going to the dentist.
No, so, it wasn't. It was very enjoyable.
It's like we got 3 people watching.
But as breakfast go,
2 of them are downstairs anyway. So it was always going to be fine.
Yes,
so,
it's not too bad, thank you.
So there's a lesson in there as well.
If you
somewhere,
are thinking about doing this, it's not as bad as you think.
There you
He's
go.
all right to have a cup of tea with.
I think we need to sort of wrap that one up. What's going to happen now is we're going to put what they call a bump stop, I think it is. So we're going to have like a 2-3 minute break where you're going to get the tide coming in. Everyone's going to need a wee. A 1 minute break where people are going to go and make another cup of tea. And then we're going to come back to another guest. In fact, I've got 2 business coaches lined up. I'm about as abundant a person as you'll ever meet. I coach coaches. One of the coaches that we're going to talk to today, I coach. But I'm going to bring a really old friend on who is going to introduce
Really
him.
old, he'll love
Well,
that.
he's not really old, but we are old friends. So I'm really looking forward to that. And I really want to thank my good, Mrs. Coach for coming on and giving us the best start we could have hoped for.
Love what you do.
There you go.
Because I'm off to 9 to 5 Saturday now.
Right now, so I'm going to struggle to get her off. So there you go. 20 minutes bang on. We're right on point. You can tell I'm a Virgo. Thank you for coming on.
No,
and,
thank you for the opportunity, Andy. As well.
Yeah, go find some people that you think might be good victims too. So for the show.
Okay.
So right, we're going to take a break there. We'll be back literally in less than 2 minutes. So in a minute, we'll be back with another guest. Thank you.
Bye bye bye.